Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to this week's Morning Coffee and a Thought, brought to you by Wings of Faith Ministries here in Sarnia, Ontario. It's good to be with you again. Some years back, I had the honor of officiating my father-in-law's funeral. And as I had to get my comments together concerning his life, I realized with all the time I had spent with him, and my father-in-law and I spent an enormous amount of time together, I realized there was one thing about his life that I found as a common thread, and that was his ability to enjoy his life. He really enjoyed life. He had come over to Canada from Scotland in 1970, built a life for his family and himself. But I could see in his latter years that contentment, satisfaction, and enjoyment in life. And that's what I want to talk about today, is our enjoyment of life. First of all, I want to remind you that Morning Coffee and a Thought can be seen on Friday afternoons beginning at 1 p.m. on our YouTube channel, and also on Sunday mornings on our Facebook page beginning at 8 a.m. And if you like and enjoy these morning talks, we hope you would like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, we hope you will join us on the channel for Journey of Insight, as Al and I take on different topics and discuss them. Right now we're on the topic of the foundational building blocks of the Christian faith. Also, if you have a prayer request, if you want to make a donation, or you want information concerning Wings of Faith Ministries, you can get all of that at wingsoffaithministries.ca. So now, let's get back to our thought. One of the Old Testament writings that has always intrigued me as a guy who likes his Bible is the book of Ecclesiastes. Now, some may find the book to be very pessimistic, but I think there are some real sobering truths and realities in this writing that we as human beings have to face. Now, the term Ecclesiastes basically means a teacher and his students, an assembly of students with a teacher. Now, the author in the beginning, and why the book was canonized, was thought to be Solomon. And certainly I'm sure that he is partly responsible for this writing. As scholarship has progressed, many believe there were additional contributors to the writing. But as you read the book of Ecclesiastes, it seems pretty clear that there's one author here putting all these thoughts and contributions together. Now, this author is talking about his life's journey and his quest to find a meaning in life here on planet Earth. And so we find out that this author, be it Solomon or whoever, is enormously wealthy. So he has the means by which he can sample all areas of life. And the author will say in the writing, I took on great building projects. I planted gardens and vineyards, had a wide variety of horticulture. He indulged in the pleasures of the flesh. In fact, what he's saying here is there was nothing about life that I never tasted. I endeavored in all types of activities on this planet. And yet, at the end of his life, he writes this book about this search for the meaning of life. And he comes to some sober but realistic conclusions. First of all, the author says that we as humanity have very little control over our lives. We have no control over when we were born or to what family we were born to. And we'll have no control of when we die, when that will take place. We will be able to take nothing with us from this life. Everything we have here is temporary. And so in many ways, the author presents kind of a pessimistic view of life. But in the middle of this writing, there will be a common thread. That despite the burdens of humanity and the shortcomings we have as human beings, by the fact we have such little control over our lives or the seasons of time that come into our lives, yet the writer says that we can enjoy life. But there's a caveat to that. Solomon will say, yes, there is enjoyment of life, there's satisfaction in life, and there's meaning in life. But all of that is a gift from God. And I want to say that again. Despite all the endeavors and pleasures that this author went through in life, he finally concluded that the only way there was meaning, satisfaction, and enjoyment was because it came as a gift from God. Now I want to center in on that for just a moment. When we go to the New Testament, what the author's really saying as we bring this forward into a new covenant is that meaning, satisfaction, and enjoyment can only come through Jesus Christ. In other words, all my endeavors prior to coming to Christ will really not have a lot of meaning, nor will they bring me total fulfillment. All of that can only come as a gift of God through my relationship with Jesus Christ in the Holy Spirit. Now, what do I mean by that? Outside of Christ, we can live an existence. But the troubling thing of that existence is it really won't have true fulfillment, meaning, and enjoyment. But once I come to Christ, I then can experience full enjoyment, satisfaction, and meaning to my life. Why is that? Because when I come to Christ, I am now part of God's plans and purposes for this planet. And so what I do in life, the endeavors I take on in life, led by the Holy Spirit, bring meaning, enjoyment, and fulfillment to my life. I can be satisfied with my existence and my endeavors in life. Solomon, without God, would have painted a very bleak picture for us human beings. Existence would have been meaningless. There would have been no real satisfaction, no enjoyment. All of that, he says, comes as a gift from God. For us today, true enjoyment, true satisfaction, true fulfillment in life comes out of a relationship with Jesus Christ. Once again, it is a gift of God. We don't know how long we're going to be here on this planet. We had no control over our birth, and will really have no control over our passing away. But I would hope that I and you today could be like my father-in-law. I noticed that he enjoyed his life. He was satisfied. He was fulfilled because I believe he had a relationship with Jesus Christ. And we can find that enjoyment of life, true satisfaction and meaning. Paul will say to his protege Timothy, there is nothing like godliness with contentment. And I would totally agree with that statement. There's no way we can truly feel satisfied and contented in life outside of a relationship with Jesus Christ, because as Solomon said, it is a gift from God. That's my thought this morning. I hope you enjoy your coffee, and we will be with you again next week.